The office was quiet in that rare, heavy way it only gets right before Christmas. Most people had already logged off, flights to somewhere warmer or snowier waiting for them. I stayed behind, pretending to organize spreadsheets while really just killing time until traffic eased. At 7:43 p.m., my phone buzzed. Karen, CEO. I wish, just once, I didn't have to be strong. I wish I could be honest about what I want. I stared at the screen, my brain lagging behind my eyes. Another message followed immediately. Karen, CEO. I wish someone would choose me, not the company. My heart started pounding. This wasn't a work message. This wasn't even close. Then the typing dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Karen, CEO. Oh my God. Please tell me you didn't read that. I exhaled slowly. Karen Blake, my boss, the woman who could buy and sell this entire building without blinking, had just accidentally sent me her Christmas wish. I read it, I typed back, then paused. There was no professional way to respond to something like that. Finally, I added, but I won't pretend it didn't matter. Minutes passed. The office lights hummed above me. Outside, snow started falling, soft and quiet like it was trying not to interrupt. My phone buzzed again. Karen. Can you come to my office? Please. I should have said no. I should have waited until Monday, or suggested HR, or done literally anything sensible. Instead, I stood up and walked down the hallway. Karen's office overlooked the city, all glass and steel and power. Tonight, the lights were dim, the Christmas tree in the corner glowing softly. She stood by the window, arms crossed, not in her usual tailored blazer but a cream sweater that made her look human. I'm sorry, she said without turning around. That message was meant for my notes app. Or maybe for no one at all. It sounded like it was meant for someone, I replied. She laughed quietly, but there was no humor in it. That's the problem. There isn't anyone. She finally faced me, and for the first time since I'd known her, she looked tired. Not CEO tired. Lonely tired. Do you know what people assume about women like me? She asked. That we chose this over everything else. Love, family, softness. As if it was a clean trade. I didn't interrupt. I didn't choose to be alone, she continued. It just happened. And now it's Christmas, and I sent my stupid wish to my assistant. I smiled despite myself. Senior analyst, I corrected. She smiled back, weak but real. Then she looked at me, really looked at me, and the air shifted. You said it mattered, she said softly. Why? I swallowed. Because you never let anyone see that side of you. And somehow, I did. Silence stretched between us, thick and fragile. Finally, she asked the question that changed everything. Do you want to make it come true? I should have clarified. Asked what she meant. Played dumb. Instead, I said, tell me which part. She walked closer, stopping just short of crossing a line that had existed for years. Being chosen, she said. Being more than a title. My pulse thundered in my ears. I'd admired her for a long time, from a safe distance, from behind professionalism and respect. But this? This was dangerous. You're my boss, I said carefully. And you're an adult, she replied. And tonight, neither of us is pretending. Snow pressed against the windows as if the city itself was leaning in to listen. I don't want a secret, she continued. And I don't want something temporary. If this is a mistake, it has to be an honest one. I thought about every late night, every meeting where our eyes met a second too long, every moment I'd told myself I was imagining things. I don't think this is a mistake, I said. She closed her eyes, relief flickering across her face. Then stay, she said. Just for tonight. Talk to me like I'm not your boss. So I did. We talked about childhoods, about dreams that had nothing to do with profit margins. She told me she loved old Christmas movies and hated being the strongest person in every room. I told her I'd never planned on falling for someone who signed my paychecks. At midnight, she laughed and said, "This is the first Christmas wish I've ever said out loud." And? I asked. She looked at me, eyes warm, voice steady. "I think it's already coming true." I woke up on her couch to the smell of coffee and cinnamon. For one terrifying second, I wondered if I'd dreamed everything. Then she appeared in the doorway, hair loose, holding 2 mugs. "Merry Christmas," she said. We didn't touch. Not yet. This wasn't about rushing. It was about choosing, again and again. "There will be consequences," I said quietly. She nodded. "There always are. HR. The board. Gossip. I know. And you still want this?" She met my gaze without hesitation. "I want you. If you're willing." I took a breath. "Then we do this the right way." Her smile was slow and genuine. I wouldn't expect anything less. Outside, church bells rang in the distance. A new day. A new story. By New Year's, everything changed, and not all at once. She disclosed the relationship. I transferred departments. People talked, then moved on, as people always do. What didn't fade was how she looked at me when no one else was watching. Or how, on quiet nights, she'd rest her head on my shoulder and whisper, "Thank you for choosing me." One evening, months later, as spring replaced the snow, she handed me a small envelope. Inside was a printed screenshot of that first message. Her Christmas wish. "I keep it," she said, "to remember what happens when you're brave enough to send the truth, even by accident." I smiled. Best accidental text ever. She laughed, leaned in, and for the first time, kissed me without fear. Some wishes don't come wrapped in paper and bows. Some arrive as mistakes. And sometimes, if you're brave enough, you make them come true. I woke up to silence. Not the empty kind, but the careful kind, like the world itself was holding its breath. For a split second, panic hit me. Then I remembered. The office lights. The wish. Her voice asking me to stay. I wasn't in my apartment. I was on a leather couch that smelled faintly of coffee and lavender. The city outside was blanketed in white. Footsteps. I sat up just as Karen appeared in the doorway, barefoot, hair loose, wearing an oversized sweater that clearly wasn't meant to impress anyone. She held 2 mugs. "Merry Christmas," she said softly. Something about the way she said it, like she wasn't sure she deserved to, made my chest tighten. "Merry Christmas," I replied. She handed me a mug. Our fingers brushed. Neither of us pulled away. For a moment, we just stood there, wrapped in steam and quiet. "I didn't sleep much," she admitted. "Me neither." She leaned against the counter. I kept waiting to wake up and realize I'd imagined everything. So did I. Her lips curved into a small smile. Then reality crept back in. "There are rules," I said gently. She nodded. "I know. I don't want to be something you regret." She looked straight at me. "I regret not being honest sooner." Silence stretched between us. Finally, she said, "If this continues, it has to be transparent. Ethical. Painful if necessary." I swallowed. "That might mean distance." "I know. And you still want it?" Her answer was instant. "Yes." That was the moment I realized this wasn't a fantasy. This was a choice. Monday hit like a storm. The elevators filled again. Emails exploded. Life resumed. But something had shifted. Karen was professional, almost too professional. Meetings were crisp. Her tone was colder. She barely looked at me. At first, I thought she was pulling away. Then I noticed something else. She was protecting us. No private conversations. No lingering glances in public. But sometimes, just sometimes, when she passed my desk, her fingers would tap twice on the glass. Our signal. Still here. Still choosing. Rumors started anyway. They always do. She's different lately. Have you noticed how tense she is? He got transferred early, must be favoritism. By February, HR called me in. We're restructuring, they said. New department. New reporting line. It was clean. Legal. But it hurt. The first night after my transfer, I sat alone in my apartment, staring at my phone. Hours passed. Then it buzzed. I hate this. I typed back. Me too. A pause. Come over. I didn't hesitate. Her apartment felt different now. Less like a sanctuary. More like a battlefield. She paced while I sat. They look at me like I betrayed something, she said. As if I stopped being competent the moment I wanted a life. I stood and took her hands. You didn't betray anything. She laughed bitterly. You don't lose credibility for being human, unless you're a woman in power. Her voice cracked. I've spent my entire life proving I deserved my seat at the table, she whispered. And now it feels like I'm being asked to give it up. That was the moment fear hit me. What are you saying? I asked quietly. She pulled away. I might have to choose, she said. The company, or us. My chest felt hollow. I won't be the reason you lose everything, I said. She turned sharply. Don't do that. Do what? Decide for me. Silence fell heavy. Finally, she said the words I'd been dreading. Maybe we should pause. My heart dropped. For how long? I asked. She couldn't answer. I nodded slowly. Then we stop. Her eyes filled with tears. I don't want to lose you, she whispered. You already are, I replied, gently. I walked out before she could stop me. That night, she sent one message. I wish I had been brave sooner. I didn't reply. Weeks passed. Winter turned sharper, colder. Snow melted into gray slush along the streets, like the city itself was tired of pretending to be beautiful. I buried myself in work. New department. New manager. Same building, but a completely different world. Karen and I didn't speak. Not in meetings. Not in elevators. Not even through the glass walls that once felt like nothing more than a suggestion. I heard things, though. The board was watching her closely. Her authority was being questioned. People whispered that she'd lost focus. One afternoon, I overheard two executives in the break room. She used to be untouchable. Yeah. Guess even queens slip. I walked away before they noticed me. That night, I sat alone in my apartment, Christmas lights still hanging in the window even though January was long gone. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Tomorrow. 9 a.m. Boardroom A. No name. I knew who it was. Boardroom A was full. Executives. Legal counsel. Board members I'd only ever seen in annual reports. Karen stood at the head of the table. Straight posture. Calm expression. But I knew her well enough now to see the tension beneath it. The chairman cleared his throat. Karen, concerns have been raised regarding your leadership decisions over the past quarter. She nodded once. I expected that. You've always been disciplined, another member said. But lately, your judgment has been questioned. Karen took a breath. Then she did something no one expected. I'd like to speak freely, she said. Murmurs filled the room. For 20 years, she continued, I've given this company everything. My time. My health. My silence. Her eyes flicked, just once, toward me. I was taught that leadership meant isolation, she said. That wanting connection made me weak. The room went still. I won't apologize for being human, she said firmly. And I won't pretend that integrity only exists when it's convenient. The chairman leaned forward. Are you admitting to? I'm admitting to honesty, she interrupted. Then came the shock. I'm stepping down as CEO, Karen said. Gasps. Whispers. Silence. Effective immediately. She handed over a prepared letter. I choose my life, she said simply. And just like that, she walked out. Past the board. Past the executives. Past me. Without looking back. 3 days later, I found her sitting alone in a small cafe near Central Park. No power suit. No armor. Just Karen. I stood there, unsure. She looked up. You came, she said softly. You didn't give me much of a choice, I replied. She smiled faintly. I didn't lose everything, she said. Just the things that were costing me myself. We sat in silence. Then she reached into her bag and placed a folded paper between us. It was a printed screenshot. Her Christmas wish. The message she accidentally sent me. I kept it, she said. To remind myself what started all this. I swallowed. You gave up a lot. I gained something too, she replied. She met my eyes. I gained the courage to choose. My heart raced. And? I asked. She reached across the table, taking my hand. I choose you, she said. Not as my employee. Not as a secret. But as my partner. Tears burned my eyes. I squeezed her hand. I choose you too, I said. Outside, snow began to fall again. Not heavy. Not loud. Just enough to feel like a promise. The following Christmas was different. We weren't in a glass tower or a corner office. We were in a small house outside the city, lights glowing warmly through the windows. Karen hung the last ornament on the tree and stepped back. Do you regret it? I asked quietly. She turned to me, smiling. Not for a second. She leaned into my arms. Some wishes aren't meant to be whispered into phones. Some are meant to be lived. And sometimes, the most powerful thing a person can do is choose love.